I'm George Milligan, Chairman of the Board and Chief Pilot for Mercy Flights Incorporated. We were founded in 1949 and have been in operation now at this time, 1977, for 28 years. What you are about to see is a film of a short rescue flight that we made in 1966 from the Prospect Airport back to Medford with using our Piper Apache aircraft, and we'll identify the people involved as we go into the film. We're in the Mercy Flights office where Mrs. Diane Coash, our operations manager, is answering the phone for a flight and getting the information prior to sending an aircraft out. She's now calling to dispatch a crew, and strangely it looks like she picked up a Volkswagen, which at that time happened to be me, and this is how she originates her flights, by either pagers or direct radio telephone to my car. All of our pilots carry a pager, pocket pager, so that if they're away from the phone they can be reached. We have our crew going out, Mr. Charlie Swingle and Alice Shaffer, and that's our Piper Apache, a 1960, we acquired it in 1966 as a four-place airplane. Will carry a pilot, co-pilot, a nurse, and a patient, and cruise about 165 miles an hour. And it also has turbo superchargers, so it will go to 20,000 feet or whatever altitude is necessary to top weather. They're now in their takeoff from Medford, and against the backdrop of the Cascade Mountains are headed up for Prospect, Oregon, which at that time was quite a crooked road and was probably a 1-hour surface ambulance drive and a 10-minute flight. And as I recall, they were involved in some kind of a industrial or logging accident on this. They're approaching the Prospect Airport now. As you can see the gear coming down, and you'll get an idea of how rugged this terrain is up in the upper Rogue River Valley area. Here's a runway they're over now and about to touch down. This airport was built by Gene Burrell, one of our pilots, and a lumberman, and also the State Board of Aeronautics, and we use it extensively during the fog season. Alice has her patient on board, and that's George Milligan, myself on the left, helping Alice, and Charlie Swingle loading this through our special door for that type aircraft. It could have been larger, but it was adequate. It's the biggest we could get available for that aircraft at the time. Alice Shaffer herself is a pilot, learned to fly after World War II. She was a nurse World War II and then flew on the GI Bill and got her license. So she is very well equipped for this type work. This will give you an idea of the ruggedness of the terrain and the remoteness of the country around Prospect. They got it in the air again with a 10-minute flight back to Medford. Again, against, at that time, a 1 hour's drive by surface ambulance. I would say on this one, she lucked out. She is sitting in the front seat probably for weight and balance. So some of the heavy loggers we get, the nurses will sit in the front seat during takeoff and landing to make up for the excessive weight in the back. Some of these loggers come pretty big, maybe not Paul Bunyan's, but they sure weight down an aircraft. This are scenes of the Rogue River en route from Prospect back to Medford, and was in the summertime, still a little dry, but a lot of green trees, typical of the terrain that we fly over. They are running the low route on this flight because of apparently did not want any altitude effect on the patient. Was a head injury, as I recall, and frequently then the doctors specify keep them as low as possible, at least no rapid ascents or descents. So in this case, that's no problem. Prospect is 2,800 feet high, and Medford is 1,300 feet above sea level. So it's a downhill run once they clear the trees at Prospect. We're now coming into the Rogue River Valley, just north of Medford. slide over here and get a look. That's why the nurse is in front, because the cameraman's in the back. And there's Mrs. Coash again at her headquarters. Are now coming into land at Jackson County, Medford-Jackson County Airport. Another touchdown, a 10-minute flight to save a man 50 minutes of riding time over some pretty rough roads. And Charlie's landings were frequently better than the rough roads. We account for the fact that I'm in this picture unloading again because I was obviously in the camera plane, or as a matter of fact flew it. The camera didn't fly itself up there, and was in on both ends of the trip that way. Charlie has his own business. He's in the fruit growing business, is also a school teacher and a pilot for us. Our patient is now less than 5 minutes away from either of the Medford hospitals, Rogue Valley Memorial Hospital or Providence Hospital. So we can count up another successful flight and a lot of time saving and rough road trip for the injured logger. This is a Medford ambulance, at that time a Cadillac. They have vans, and they have, in our estimation, the finest ambulance service that we have seen in the state of Oregon or wherever we travel in our business.